before she said that she would, whatever she said before, I don't remember, but she said that she'd rather have kids on her own and raise it with her friends or alone. I don't know, something like that, but I love kids, so I'd rather have...
Do you guys not know how terrible that is? Like, we talk about how difficult it is raising kids as a single mom. We talk about how many problems that causes from a financial standpoint, mental health standpoint, from crime and all this stuff. And I'm like, why are people so casually talking about raising kids by themselves when it's like one of the worst environments? When it's one of the worst environments to potentially raise a kid in. I'm not saying that all the single moms out there are inherently terrible, but like, why would you go into something inherently saying you want to raise kids by yourself? By definition, they're going to be missing out on a bunch of stuff that they need because you're a single parent. So if you end up in that situation, that's one thing. But why would you go into it saying, I would be fine with being a single parent? Why?
Okay, so I'll tell you why. So basically,
just off the bat, she sounds so damn stupid. Just so stupid. Just willing to just settle for being a single mom, raising those kids by yourself. You don't even know how hard it is. You won't settle, but you let those kids grow up in a crappy environment without a dad.
It's better because the thing is, we're limited. Like there's an age limit when we can have kids, and there's a time when it stops. So if it gets to that point, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't want to settle for an unhappy marriage. Or if I'm just going to fight with my partner all the time in front of the kids.
Maybe it's the fact that you want to have controlling interests. Maybe it's the fact that you want your husband to agree with everything you do. That's why you be fighting all the time. Because the reality is you're probably a feminist or want your own way. So that's why you would want to have a kid and not have a husband there or the father there. Because you want to have it in your way. It's just about you. Never mind about those kids, their well-being, their mental health. You. It's about you. And it's sad to say there's a lot of women like this. A lot of women. They just want to be mothers, not wives, not have a family unit. That's why it's always said, never date a woman who comes from a broken home. Never date a woman who comes from a single parent home. Never date a woman who's been abused. Because usually these are the type of women who talk like this. Or women who come from two-parent homes, but they reject any type of instruction that their parents have given them to have a two-parent home.
That's actually even worse than being a single mom.
Do you think it's a good idea to birth kids in extreme poverty?
No.
So then why would you think it's a good idea to birth kids as a single mom?
So are you saying that that's going to be poverty if I do that?
But being a single parent, whether it's a man or a woman, right? It's not the common people are doing it. Some people just end up in that.
The society is, it's not by saying that if you raise a kid being a single mother, you're going to be in poverty automatically. But we have to realize and we have to be conscious about society and how it's constructed. Society is made to be lived in twos. Actually, not that it's going to be, it's made like that. But if you separate all the bills and everything in that and you don't have to hassle about it, it is easier. That's just a fact. That's just mathematics. It's not a way of, if you have bills and you separate them by two and you live in the same household and you take the stress and you separate it by two, it's going to be easier. If you're a single mother and
two heads are better than one, okay? That's the reality. But you have these woke women who think otherwise, and then they wonder why they're struggling, why they wish they're wondering, why did I have kids? I shouldn't have had kids, because you're doing it all on your own, and you're not supposed to raise kids by your damn self. But a lot of them don't understand that until it's too late, and then when they're in it.
Shout out to all the single parents out there, mom or dad, single mom or dad, that are alone and dealing with this shit. It's hard because you have all the burden on you. And I'm talking about a single parent, not a parent that is single. The difference there, all right? Where there's some people out there that do separate the bills and they are single That's not what I'm talking about. You still splitting the bills and shit like that. Well, not all the bills because you have household and everything and stuff, but it's still life the way it's done. It's easier if you're in two. That's the reason why there was couples. It's just a survival thing when you learn.
The reality is that you need the man in the house. All right. The kids learn protection, survival and security from the dad, and nurturing from the mother. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Okay. You're not supposed to live being raising kids as a single mother. There's data that shows a lot of crime comes from broken homes, single parent homes. Okay. And that's just the facts. And a lot of women can't understand that. Now, not all single women who are raising these kids, who have to raise these kids by themselves, have to. They've been divorced, the fact that maybe there was abuse there and stuff like that. Fine. I'm not talking to women who just feel like, you know what, we just didn't click. Not really telling the real reason why they ended their marriage or the relationship. And they didn't think about the kid. And they just want to just raise the kid by themselves. That's it. You guys are real pieces of crap because you're doing your children a disservice.
I don't remember what it was. I had this class in college, but anyways, that's the point. But it was that you learn about the history of mankind and the society of different societies. That's what it was. That's how caveman and cavewoman got together because of that. Because it was easier. It's easier if you're a unit than if you're alone.
Well, that sounds rather extreme.
It's not extreme. It's
Listen,
just life.
Anything we can do, I can do better. But it's not good circumstances to raise a child in life.
That's usually the mindset. That's usually the dumb mindset of feminists, who say anything you can do, I can do better. No, there's certain things you cannot do. A mother cannot be a father. A father cannot be a mother. Those are facts. That's biology. Some women, they can't understand that. And then they wonder why things go out of whack with their kids.
Every statistical number is terrible. So why would you do that? If you're saying you don't think it's a good thing to raise kids in absolute poverty, which I don't necessarily agree with, but that's what you said. Why would you think it's a good idea to raise them as single parents when statistically it's not a good idea at all by the numbers?
But it's not always not a good idea if you can actually provide for that child, and if you have a support system, and if you live in a good society. And
first off, no. That kid needs to be raised by the mother and the father. Quit trying to ask, modern society. So they're just proving that women cannot raise kids by themselves. They always need a government. They always need some other outside entity outside the unit of between the parent, between the mother and the child to raise the kid. No. Okay. See right there, this is where this strong, independent woman crap goes out the window because you're depending on the government or you're depending on family to raise that kid when it should be just the father and mother raising the child.
I know how it is. I'm not saying it's going to be hard, but worst case scenario, I need to have a child. I love kids, okay?
Did you hear what she said?
I need a child. You don't need a child. You're not going to die if you don't have a child. I need a child. This is stupid. This is stupid. Okay? This is stupid. You don't say that. I need a child. You don't need a child. You're not going to die if you don't have one. This is the type of stupidness that women will get away with saying. Okay? Sad. Let a man say this stuff. I just want a baby, man. I just want little kids around. But you can't afford it. I just want kids around. He gets smacked up in with a dose of reality and probably some hands. But a female saying this nonsense, they get coddled with, never told that you're acting the fool. Well, if there's a good friend in her life or probably a good boyfriend, probably tell that, and then he'd be looked upon as a misogynist. The father, whoever says that to a woman like this, if that's his daughter, she'll probably start crying and making up stories, probably trying to be a fake victim. Oh, he's abusive. No, he's just telling you how stupid you are acting. Oh boy, it's just people, man, people.
You prove your point by just being selfish. I think, like, I understand what you're saying. But at the end of the day, I need this.
But it's more than that. Listen, I think having a child is again selfish. The desire to want a child, that's selfish. Here, you're bringing someone to this world again has to. I agree. But then there's being selfish, and then there's also being irresponsible.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I didn't make up the numbers in regards to single mother. That's not me. I didn't make the numbers up to single parent. That's not me. Right? The numbers out there. You can look them up yourself if you want to see a negative impact on mental health, poverty, education, crime, all these things. These are well documented. It's not my opinion. Most sociologists agree on this. So when this person says, "I wouldn't raise a kid in active poverty," which I would argue is probably a worse English, but I would raise a kid in that's still not on the environment because I really want a child, and they see nothing wrong with it. It blows my mind, and they never speak about what are the effects on a child for not having their father. They never speak about that. They never speak, and you hear it too. She said, "I had both my parents, and I love the love they have. And if I can't have that, then I'll just raise my life." She doesn't even understand what children from single-parent households go through. She hasn't even done that research to understand because she's got both her parents in her life. There's a certain irresponsibility to it that I think is kind of gross and negligent, and that really struck out. But she didn't have a rebuttal. She didn't have a rebuttal. She said, "But I need a child." So,
are you saying that it's some kind of privilege when both of your parents are still married and you will raised by them? Is that what you're saying? So her privilege is not enabling her to see how being raised by a single mother or father can be hard.
You know what it's like? This is like somebody who came from a rich family, like, I raised my kid in poverty. They're going to be loved. I mean, I have my parents' resources. Look at my face. Bro, look at my face. I am cringing so hard at this.
But that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, I grew up in a 2-parent home. I'll raise them single, but I'll raise them by myself. It's okay. See, this type of woman is dangerous because she has 2-parent household, and she's not taking into account that she came from a 2-parent house. She does not know what it's like to struggle. That's the point. That's the problem. She doesn't know what it's like to struggle. She doesn't know what it's like to go without. And she's seen this like she thinks her parents are going to be okay with picking up the slack of her making a poor decision and bringing a baby into this world without the man to provide and protect and love this child. She thinks this way, and I'm looking at her. She must be of Indian descent, and I don't think Indians play that game. I really don't. I do not think they're very patriarchal, and I think they kind of spoiled her in a way to have her thinking that this kind of spoiled her in a way that allows her to think that she can just fall on mommy and daddy's lap. It's not going to work that way. It's not going to work that way.
I'm going to be honest with you, Breeze. I really didn't know people said stuff like this.
I did because it's just because of our settings. It's usually because of who we're surrounded with. I was not surprised about this shit because friends of my friends talk like that sometimes. I became acquainted with it. I became used to it. You understand what I'm saying? I'm used to that, to people talking like that. There's a couple of things that I got to say. That's why I was taking notes. But I see your face and I understand it. But I was taking notes about that, about what she said. The first thing that I got to say about that right off the bat right there before we keep on going with the video is the first thing is the image that your parents are, what your parents are, it's not what it is. Okay? The thing about your parents is hiding a lot of shit from you. Make it look like everything is all right. Your parents' goal is to, oftentimes, not always, sometimes, there's some parents that fail, but oftentimes your parents' goal or what they try to set it up is they try to make everything look good or make the kids not suffer. So the image that you have of your parents is often not what you think. It's not really what's going on. Parents hide, oftentimes, they hide a lot of shit from you. And I say, there's a saying that I say often, it's you become an adult. You know, when someone comes up to me and be like, yo, when do you become an adult? It's not an age thing. You become an adult when there's a part of your childhood that dies when you realize that your parents are not that the greatest, or not that great, or not that your dad is not the strongest, he's not the greatest, and he has flaws, and that your mom has flaws. Once you realize that, you don't necessarily become an adult, but your childhood dream dies there. You know what I mean? And there's some people it's sooner than before. Some people it's younger than before. That's one. Two, the thing about having kids and really wanting to have kids, no matter what, whether the male is there or not, it's very selfish. You have to ask yourself whenever you want to have kids. People always ask themselves,
Kids are not accessories. Kids are not toys that they break and put to the store. Kids, once they come out the woman's womb, once they're here, you cannot give them back. And that's what a lot of women don't understand. Okay? And they make these stupid notions. I want to have kids. I want to have kids. I want to have kids. And you don't want to be married. You don't want the man in your life, the father of those kids. You just want to have a kid. They're not dogs. They're not pets. This is an extreme sign of selfishness with a female. When they just want kids, but they don't want to be married and they don't want the man around who made that helped make that kid.
I want to have kids. Or the question that they ask themselves is, do I want to have kids? And to me, it's just the wrong question. The question you should ask yourself is not whether you should want kids or not. The question you should ask yourself is whether you want to be a parent or not. That's the question. Because having kids is one thing. Being a parent is some other shit.
Like, what's the difference though?
You having a kid is just you having a kid. Just in the way that it sounds, is you having a baby. It's a thing that happens. Being a parent is a role.
Yeah.
Having a kid is a possession. And just by saying I want a kid, it's really just and just making the difference between having a kid and wanting to be a parent. Just knowing the difference between that and the intention behind those two sayings makes you more conscious of those two things, of those two positions. I want a baby. I want a baby. When you want a baby, you really just think about all the
I remember watching Abba right? And he was doing a interview with Azia, right? And she is a single mother. And she was talking about the struggles of being a single mother, how the things she had to do, the hours she has to take off work. She can't work sometimes full time. These are the struggles of being a single mother. And this woman's just, la la land because she grew up with two parents and she thinks that it's cool, that everything's going to be all right, that her parents are going to be there to pick up the slack. They may not. In Indian culture, they're very patriarchal, and she probably hasn't seen that side of her dad. And when she sees that side of it, that she'll be surprised, because a lot of modern women think this nonsense, and then when they have that baby, that's when reality hits.
Positive things about this, and sometimes I see people that really want kids that are like very I'm tired, this and that. It's so hard. No, because you wanted a kid. You didn't want to be a parent. But when you want to be a parent and you take that in consideration and you really think about the intention behind the difference of being a parent and wanting a baby, there's choices that you know that there's some choices, some hard choices that you're going to make. Being a parent is not about you no more. Wanting a baby and posting pictures and shit like that and having that kid, that's about you. Being a parent ain't got nothing to do with you. That's the reason why.
You don't hear that how selfish that sounds. If I don't find somebody and it's not if I don't have exactly what my parents had, then I'm not going to settle. But you're going to make your child settle for a situation that is less than ideal.
He's gonna have a whole family. That child's gonna have a family.
He's not gonna have
This is the thing. They think because their parents are there and because the government will help, that's a family. That's not a family. Where's the father? All right. Where's the man who made that kid? This is this nonsense that goes on in Western societies. They think they could do this and it's going to be okay. No, because the grandparents are going to be sick of taking responsibility. They're going to ask, when are you going to get a job? When are you going to find a man that's going to actually stick around and take care of these kids? Because we're not going to do it. We're too old. This is the crap that the reason why men are not really open to dating anymore. They just probably will pump and dump, and that's it. Because of this nonsense. And this woman's smiling like a little fool, thinking that she's right. She's not right. I need a kid. For what? Oh, the thing is, it's like you don't want to find a man to marry suitable within your time period before your eggs dry up. So you just want a kid for convenience. That's it. A family, a man to provide a family for you. Okay, that's what it is. You just want things out of convenience, and this crap here is destroying society. It's destroying household. This mindset right here.
He's not gonna have a father.
He can still have a father. Like if I meet someone that would agree to have a baby, but we don't have to get married or live together, but he can still be a good father, that can happen.
You see this nonsense? You see this nonsense right here? Well, we don't have to live together. We don't have to get married. This is the selfish stupidity that's running out of her mouth. And her child's going to end up suffering because of it. I hope she doesn't get married. I really do. I hope she doesn't get it. I hope she meets no man. No man. Okay? I hope not. Because she doesn't deserve to have babies. She doesn't deserve to be a mother, and you don't deserve to be anybody's wife or girlfriend. You are just a bag of problems. That's it. You are problems.
So how do you call it?
Bruh. Oh, monsieur. The thing is, I've seen that way of thinking. Like you put the that's the thing. That's not even okay. This subject is no longer about having kids and everything and stuff. It's about arguing with people and proving a point. Okay, when you argue with someone, you're not, even if you have all the facts, all the statistics, all the logic, you might not even, most of the time, you're not going to change the person's perspective because they are so ingrained in their way of thinking that it doesn't matter. You can bring all the logical analogies that you want. It's not going to change their point of view. You know why? Because they really want a baby. And there's nothing that's going to go against that. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you replace baby and you put, I really want a dog. Yeah, but you live in a 1.5.
Sounds the same.
You don't have the space to raise a husky, but I really want a dog. You don't have the backyard to put him in. I really want a dog. You don't have the money to feed him. I really want a dog. If I can find someone else, like maybe one day I'll have a job that will be able to change and someone's going to be able to, yeah, but your landlord doesn't allow dogs. I really want a dog. Like they don't hear you because them wanting really to have a dog is more important than any logic that you're going to instill in them. Now replace dog with.
A lot of women are like this, especially women who come from the black community and lower income. They have this mentality. A lot of them do, because the government is there, because they could beg for money from the state. They'll have this mentality. And it's really sad because the victims are the children that are soon to be born, who will be neglected because the woman now realizes it's hard to have a kid. But this is what you wanted. Now you understand kids are not animals that you get at a pet shop. You give them back if you don't like them. Once they're here, they're here, and you have to take care of them.
Baby, it doesn't matter. So that's what makes it very selfish. I always say to my people that love dogs, if you really, really, really love dogs all that much, and you would really love animals all that much, you wouldn't have any. But they really want dogs, so they have them. Yeah. And they get them neutered, and they encourage all the people that are selling them and that are breeding them in the wrong way. That's what you're doing. But if you really wanted that, you wouldn't have that. But no, she really wants the baby. So she's going to have her baby whether you want it or not.
You know what really struck me as like really odd during the whole conversation was like she's talked about how she wanted to have her parents love. I don't have a love and respect like my parents. I don't want anything else. I'm never going to settle. But I'm going to look at my kids and bring them into an environment that's less than ideal and force them to settle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what kind?
Exactly. You're not going to settle, but you're going to make your kids settle for food stamps, a crappy apartment, watching you have boyfriend come, strange men come in and out of your place like a hotel stay, like a Super 8 hotel. Have them eating government food and being cursed at when you can't handle raising the kids by themselves.
What kind of entitlement and selfishness you have to have? If you're going to be a parent, this is what it is. I'm not saying you should settle to have kids. I'm saying if you're going to have kids, settle. Because you owe it to them to do everything in your power to bring them into an environment that's best for them. When you are a parent, it's no longer about you and what your sense of happiness is. Theirs comes first. And if you don't understand that order, I would argue that you're a negligent parent. If you think that you're...
Yes, burn her ovaries. She doesn't understand what it's like to be a parent. When you're a parent, it's no longer about you anymore. It's about them. It's about those kids eating. It's about those kids being happy that they're fed, to saying I love you because you actually manifested love to them. Love is a verb. That's what it is. It's a freaking verb. It requires action. And that's what it is. That's what it is when you're being a parent. And when women say this nonsense, it just sets my eyeballs on fire because it's so stupid the way they think. I want kids, but I don't want to live with the man that I made the kids with, and I don't want to get married. And because we have the government and I got my female family members or my side of the family, he'll be just fine. And the worst of it all, the family members will be okay with this nonsense. But eventually they'll get tired of it.
For happiness and what you want, and like, I want a man who has his ambition or who's passionate about, and you won't find a father for that child because you didn't have that. How is it fair to them? You talked about, I'm going to find a man and maybe he's going to give me the sperm. That sounds like a father figure to you. What if he has another family and he doesn't want anything to do with the kid anymore? Imagine how much that's going to feed that child up. But people don't care. They doesn't matter because I'm not going to settle. Well, then don't be a parent. Don't be a parent.
She's not. But she's not.
This is that you can't see yourself being, having the man that you made the kids with in the kid's life. Don't be a parent. But a lot of them can't see it this way. They can't see it this way because it requires them to think logically.
She doesn't want to be a parent. She wants to have a baby. And that's why in my head there's really a difference between wanting to be a parent and wanting to have a baby. Yeah. I don't have a baby right now. At 38, I don't have a baby because I didn't want to be a parent.
There's a certain sadness.
I don't have a problem with people who are married and they don't want to have kids. That's their choice. And kids are a lot of work. It's up to them. I'd rather have a husband and a wife married happily without kids than a husband and a wife regretting having kids, and those kids have to suffer their wrath. But I'm going to end it right here. I'm going to end it right here. And it's just, it's sad, man. It really is that you have these type of women in the world. And you probably will have some men thinking the same way. It's sad. So many kids end up in foster care. So many kids end up being statistic in the newspapers because of selfish parents like this. And it irks me. All right. Like, share, comment, and subscribe later.